On this video, I will showcase 5 historic brawl decks created by Post Malone and will tell you which one I would choose to crush the event. Wizards has just announced that from October 20 to October 24th, there's going to be a special historic brawl event called Post Malone Arena Concert. The event will be free to play and will give you access to 5 different pre-constructed historic brawl decks created by Post Malone himself. In the event, you will be able to win some prizes like sleeves, mostly accessories I would expect. The 5 decks are Avant-Garde Bard, a mono-green list commanded by Eliwick Tumblestrom, the Devil's Interval, Arachtos, the showstopper deck focused on devils and demons, Spells da Capo, an Izzet Spellslinger deck with Rutha as commander, a Song of Sun and Fire, a Boros Spellslinger deck commanded by Firesong and Sunspeaker, and finally, Green and Blue Scale, a Simic Dragon list running Corlessa Scale Singer. These are all fun, a blast to play, but I've tested them and I know what is the best performer, so I'll tell you everything you need to know to enjoy the event to the fullest. What is up everyone, welcome back one more time. You know the deal, we play Historic Brawl and today I have a super special event in playing the decks from Post Malone. So October 20th to October 24th there's supposed to be a special event in Arena with Post Malone in which there's supposed to be a concert, or I don't know, is that a real concert or are they calling this a concert but it's just playing Magic? I don't know. So the fact is that there are 5 different decks that we are going to be able to play during that event. There are 5 pre-cons or 5 pre-constructed decks from Historic Brawl. You can see I am playing right now one of them. It's an Eliwick Tumblestrom deck and obviously a mono green build that it's basically running. It's a mono green Stompy with some Venture to the Dungeons synergies. And yeah, we're going to test each one of them, see which of these decks is most powerful, and hopefully give you some hints on what to pick on the actual event. So you can either A, play whatever you feel like playing and you have the most fun with, or B, if you want to just crush the event and take the prizes as fast as possible. So we have ramped using Llanowar Lumpspeaker and Llanowar Elves. We have a very expensive hand. This is to be expected with this build, and well, we are making our mana work, but not in an easy way. So what do we do next? We can reduce the cost of our spells by playing Aelia, or maybe we can bounce Shigeki to our hand and try to find the land that way. Opponent is on Elesh Norn, so maybe Inscription. No, I guess, yeah, I guess we can do the Shigeki play, right? Or maybe Nylea. Let's reduce the cost of our spells. This reduces our spells by 1, so at least Shigeki can block. Okay, so they have a Skyclave Apparition. Alright, so yeah, there are 5 decks, 5 Historic Brawl decks, and we will play each one of them. Let's see what we do here. And I will give you also the feedback of having played with them, what I feel about the decks to actually be played in the queue, and if you want to really craft those decks, if you should, if they are good or not. So now we do the Shigeki play because I don't feel like we can keep missing our land drops, so we might as well start finding the lands using Shigeki. Opponent is not putting us into too much pressure, so I would be really worried by this deck, this Elesh Norn deck, if they were ramping and being much closer to the 7 mana. So if they get to 7 mana with Elesh Norn, then we are going to lose. That's the tail of the tape. They play Rule of Law, so now we can only cast 1 spell per turn, each one of us. So they have some creatures, but they are not close and they are missing land drops as well. So this is a good situation for us. And now I feel like I want to play Vorinclex. And I'm thinking about even attacking with Vorinclex, because if they want to kill it, I will have to trade with at least a couple of those creatures. So I just need to keep their board as clear as possible, you know? Because they need a lot of creatures and they need Elesh Norn. And we need to have at least one big creature, and we have a lot of them in our hand. So no big deal here if we trade. Because Lion Sash can grow a lot. They can dump a lot of mana into that. Alright, so they have a God Eternal Ketra, so anytime that they play a creature, they're going to get a 4/4 zombie with Vigilance. So I guess now it's as good a time as any to play Nowbound. Even though we have a rule of law in play, we have an answer for that. So anytime that we want to remove the rule of law, we can do it with the You Find the Cursed Idol. So maybe they want... Oh, Baneslayer Angel, that has protections from dragons. That is convenient. Huh. So I guess what we can do is we have to break the rule of law. And then after breaking the rule of law, we can... Oh, maybe, you know, maybe... Oh. And we have to grow a creature to fight. I think we can do this. We can grow the... Let's grow the Shigeki. There's no point in growing the Nowbone while the Baneslayer Angel is still there, and we need a big enough creature that we can use the inscription in their upkeep. So now during the upkeep, I will fight the Baneslayer Angel with Shigeki. And I have to do this on the upkeep because the rule of law prevented me from playing another spell in my turn. So now that the Baneslayer Angel is down, the skies are clear, and they might think that they are okay with the Nowbone making treasures because of the rule of law, but we can break that. Alright, so Serra Paragon. They made a 4/4. Ooh, and we even have another removal spell. So let's start by destroying the rule of law. So this means we can keep playing our spells in hand, which means I can ram through the Serra Paragon. There we go. And then we can attack. So yeah, I mean, this is a nice deck just because it's a mono green deck, and I feel like it's consistent enough. What I've noticed from this from the Post Malone's deck is that they are running very low amounts of lands. I think that most of decks are running 36, 37 with some MDFCs, but you don't want to do that in your historic brawl decks. You might, most of the time, if you're over three mana value in average, you want to be in at least 39, 40 lands, even with MDFCs. You should think about MDFCs as spells, not as lands. And one problem that I ran with these precon decks from Post Malone is that you have so much mana travel. So a good point in favor of this mono green build is that you won't be mana screwed as easy just because you're playing the one color. So I think this is one of the most powerful decks that from the 5. Alright, so let's play the Ogre of Autumn and see what we reveal from the top of our library. And maybe we can start playing a bunch of creatures. Yeah, maybe we can... Maybe this is the card that is going to make us win. So, Wandering Troubadour. Oh, and we even have a Kogla incoming next turn. I don't know how strong Eliwick is. I don't feel like she is doing a lot, or she has done a lot in the games that I test play with her. I think it's a good value commander, but of course there are many other commanders that you can put in besides her and you would do better. But these are supposed to be fun precons, and I believe that they will be played against each other in the event, so no need to power creep these precons. We are just running them through the historic brawl queue to see if they are actually worth of being played. And maybe if you enjoy them, we can even upgrade them in the future. All right, so we go to the next deck. We are back for more Post Malone event concert. This preview that we are doing, playing the decks that will be available on the event that is going to be on Arena between October 20th and October 24th, in which you will be able to select one of 5 decks and compete and win prizes. And it's going to be a free event, so everybody can play. I think it's going to be great if you're not a avid historic brawl player to give it a shot. You will love the format. And now we are playing with Rakdos the Showstopper in what Post Malone calls the Devil's Interval. So this deck is a Devils/Demons deck. And the one problem that I have with this deck is that it's running, I believe it's running 36 lands. 36 lands plus some MDFCs, but 36 lands, that's too low. That's too low. Never played 36 lands, never. Even with low mana curves, I mean 36 is if you're playing like 1-drop, 2-drop tribal. You know, 36 lands is too low. You will be mana screwed more often than not. And come on, run 38, 39 minimum. I would run 40 most of the time. But yes, this deck, I had so much trouble making this deck work, and it's kind of super mid-rangey. You see, we have Giza and we have a Spawn of Mayhem and a Nightmare Shepherd. It's like a 4-drop, 5-drop tribal, and well, it's incredibly difficult to deal in the meta game of Historic Brawl. Maybe against these other precon decks is going to perform much better, but I don't think this is a good deck compared to the other ones. I feel like Mono Green from before is going to do better than this deck. Alright, so opponent is on Catilda and is setting up super well. So they might as well have infinite mana right now, because Catilda is giving all their humans mana abilities. Their Leyline of Abundance made those abilities even better, and they draw a card every time that they play a creature. So they have kind of a nice thing going over there. We draw a Swamp, and well, what can we do? Because you see, we get to 5 mana, but we just can't only play one spell. The good thing is that if we can start killing their things, Giza brings them to our side, but we have to find a removal spell. So let's play Erebos. Erebos has the upside that if something dies on our side, it's going to allow us to draw cards. Ooh, and a Luminous Broodmouth. So, alright, so Luminous Broodmouth exiles when a creature they control dies. If it doesn't have flying, it comes back with a flying counter, but we have a Giza. Giza has a replacement effect for death triggers, which says that if a creature they control dies, we exile it, and then we bring it back on our upkeep. So Luminous Broodmouth does not work here for our opponent, which I hope that they don't know, because we want to take advantage of that, although we don't have a removal spell. So let's see, maybe if we attack into them, they will think that blocking is okay, because they might be expecting the Broodmouth trigger. So that might be the play to make. I mean, no, they have read it. We saw them reading the card, or at least hovering over the card, so maybe they know. But we still have to push for damage. I mean, press that they haven't tapped our creatures, but maybe they are actually expecting to block. Alright, block with 1, block with 2. Okay, so they double jump. Oh, they're floating mana. Ah, I see. They can pump with Catilda, but does that work? What? Alright, I don't know what happened. But you see, the replacement effect occurs and Giza now has both creatures. So funny. Alright, so then again, these 3 drops and just 5 mana. You want to be... Wow, this deck... I hope someone watches and alerts Wizards, or... This deck requires at least 40 mana, 40 lands. 40 lands. You cannot miss a single land drop with this deck. Not playing 4 drops and 3 drops. You need to be double spelling every turn. And we are not able to do that, so... Don't pick this deck if you can. I mean, if you love demons, if you just want to enjoy the event, you might as well do that. I don't think it's a very good deck overall. But maybe in the future we can pick Rakdos and build a different build of Rakdos. An opponent giving +2/+2 to the older creatures. I don't think that's enough. So yeah. So what about the event? I'm not sure what the event is going to look like. It says Post Malone concert, but does that mean that there's going to be actual video footage of him like giving an actual concert? Is he going to stream? Is the concept of a concert just the fact that we play with precons from Post Malone and that is quote unquote the concert? I cannot understand from reading the article. Maybe some of you do. So if you know better and you can comment on that, I would appreciate it. So maybe the people will know what to expect. I see the event as a chance to play some Magic and play with new decks and that people will have fun with. So, and I'm really happy that Historic Brawl is starting to get so much attention lately. I think that this is the best format the platform offers, and I have very huge expectations in the future when we win by playing Zariel and just attacking. I mean, all right, good one. On to the next deck. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we continue to play with Post Malone's precon decks in Historic Brawl for the event of the 20th of October, and now we're playing, now we're cooking, now we're playing with a deck that is actually pretty decent. So this is Rutha copying spells. Anytime that you're playing Izzet, you will be alright. Because look at this, the efficiency. Fires of Victory for removal, we have Ramp, we have Prismari Command. We can ramp onto Double Vision and double Varal's Expertise. Maybe copy something with Rutha. So this is my pick from the 5 decks, my selection as the most powerful one. Because, well, it's running blue. So, you know, there are other blue decks, but not as powerful as this one. Opponent is an IV Gleeful Spell Thief. We know what they are trying to do. They are trying to deploy one creature, IV, and go off by targeting their spells to the other creature, copying it, putting it on IV. So we must make sure that we can deal with that creature, or IV, or both. And having fires, having a Varal's Expertise, having Prismari Command, I don't see how we lose this game. We would have to screw up big time. Okay, so we can pass. The highest upside play right now is Prismari Command, their Arcane Signet, and Ivy. But we could be running into a counter spell. Although I'm feeling like even if they do that, we untap and deal with both things, most likely. So let's just try to set them back, really back with this play. We deal due to Ivy and we destroyed an artifact. Looks like they have a response. This deck, I mean, if you like control, of course, you're going to choose this one. But I think that if you want to quickly win the event and get to the 5 wins, and you are decent playing control decks, this is a powerful deck. This is a powerful deck. All right, so opponent faced out their creatures, but now we have Electrolyze in hand. And Electrolyze means that we can ping both of these creatures at the same time. Oh, this is going to be a very nice 2-for-1. Even before the cartouche resolves, we can deal with both. And you see, just interaction. Cheap interaction. Good enough for this Spell Slinger deck. And yeah, we got there. Very nice deck. We continue to play with Post Malone's Historic Brawls pre-constructed deck for the event of the 20th of October. And this time is the turn of Fire Song and Sunspeaker, a Boros Spell Slinger deck that is purely based on burn spells. Fire Song and Sunspeaker is going to give those spells lifelink. And then when we gain life from a instant or sorcery, then we also deal 3 damage to another target. To another target creature or player, so to another target. So, I mean, Boros is always difficult, but this is a good deck overall. My sensation is that this deck has a lot of interaction. You can kill almost anything that you want, and yeah, you can win the game even if you don't cast your commander. I think it's a nice, is a well-built deck overall. But it lacks on, well, it has the same problem as the other deck, is that it's running so few lands, and it's very difficult. Hitting land drops with these Post Malone decks is really difficult. So you will see lots of matchups that are going to be, yeah, people missing their land drops. Here we find a Castle Embereth, so we have 4 mana. We might as well run, well, Radiant Scroll Wielder. I think that's too good. Maybe we set up with the Toralf. And by setting up with Toralf, every removal spell or every burn spell we throw around has more reach, and we can start pinging them. Opponent is on Marrow Knower, but kind of a different build of Marrow Knower, as you would see, like Gutter Bones. We saw the other menace creature. So some rats, but not the complete rat build. Ooh, Key to the Archive. Do we have time to? I think so. We are not under so much pressure. Ugh, do we take a filthy time warp, or do we take an Approach of the Second Sun? I mean, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to showcase these decks, and if Post Malone would be playing, Post Malone would take time warp, no questions asked. You know, this is his deck, so we might as well play as he would be playing it. We take extra 4, but now the fun stuff begins. An opponent is stuck at 2 lands, which also helps a lot. I think this is my 3rd pick from the 5 decks. First one would be the Izzet deck, the Rutha deck. Second would be the Mono Green deck, the Elowick deck. And this is probably my 3rd pick overall. But it's also really fun. I think this one is the most fun one, because it's different, you know? It's like a Boros Spell Slinger deck, so it's unique. If you like to play unique decks, this might be your jam. Oh, Brash Taunter, nice. I like this card a lot. And black is going to have so much trouble dealing with the Brash Taunter, just because they, well, unless they have like an exile removal like Vraska's Contempt, or maybe a E2 Extinction or Extinction Event, then dealing with Brash Taunter is so difficult for them. So we can essentially block anything, and every time that they deal damage to Brash Taunter, we're going to damage them back. Now, there's a couple of options, but I think playing Fire Song and Sun Speaker here is more flavorful. It's the commander of the deck, and we are going to rip apart something and then also kill something else. So let's see. First one, Paladin. Do we want to kill that? I think so. We can kill both. So we kill the Rat Colony first. This triggers Fire Song and Sun Speaker because we used an instant or sorcery to gain life. So that deals 3 more, and now we can relax and pass. Connoisseur. All right, so that makes us discard. So let me know in the comments if you enjoy one of these decks more than the others, because might as well pick them up and tune them, improve them, and take them for another spin to actually test them correctly. First thing to do, increase the land numbers. So few lands, so much missing land drops with these decks. Ogre Slumlord. Yeah, this Marrow deck is less scary than when they're playing Rat Colony after Rat Colony. Alright, so Big Daddy Johnny is here. We can start creating Primates. And also a mirror. And I don't think we even attack, because we don't need to, really. We are recovering our life total. We can start brush countering things. Opponent plays a land, and here comes the commander, Marrow Knower. So the rats now have, wow. Fiery Emancipation. So every source deals triple damage. Check out this animation. Check it out. Boomba. Ooh, that was sweet. That was sweet. Okay, so do we make another Primate, or do we gain life? I don't think there's a reason to gain life right now. So we might as well first fight with a Taunter, because Taunter is going to deal triple damage to the Slumlord. And that's going to be triple damage. Check this out. Like 3 times 3. Boom. No, it was 3 times. It was 4 times 3. Math is hard. All right, so that was cool. That was 12 damage to the face just from the Taunter with the help of the Fiery Emancipation. So this build of Marrow Knower is not the full-on. Yeah, you can see they're also running Falcon Wrath. Like, I'm not so sure about this deck. All right, so Matchmaker was very, very kind with Fire Song and Sun Speaker. The deck is still good. I think that this deck is still good. I think this might be in the middle of the list. So yeah, now another victory. This will be our last round playing with Post Malone's Precon decks for the Historic Brawl event that's going to take place on October the 20th through October 24th. And this time is going to be Corlessa Scale Singer. So this is the Simic Dragon Commander that allows us to play dragons from the top of our deck. And oh boy, this deck. I mean, I had so much trouble running this. Corlessa is good, but Simic Dragons are not. And on this game we're ramping pretty well, so I'm positive we're doing fine. But this deck is going to be outclassed by the other, at least 3 of the other decks in the event. So unless you enjoy too much playing with dragons and playing with blue and green dragons, I would take another deck for the event. But yet again, you can play whatever you want and it's going to be fun. It's all about having fun on the event, especially in an event that is not going to require you to buy anything or there's no fee, so you might as well have fun while playing with this. If you were spending your money, then I would be more persuasive right now. Well, check this out. We have copied a Paradise Street, so we have a lot of mana right now to work with. They have a strict proctor and they are on Feather. So Feather, what's the problem that they have right now with Feather? Well, they don't have their second white source, and so we are protected by their inability to draw white sources, and otherwise we would be really scared of this deck, because Feather touches the ground and they start casting their instance, and it's going to be very tough to deal with that. We don't even run removal spells on this build, so we are lucky that they are missing land drops. And we now have Corlessa. You can see that we play with our library with the top card revealed, and we can play dragons from the top of our library, so that's the path to victory for us. Yeah, they're desperately trying to find white mana. I think we let that go. We need to keep this Quandrix command for the moment that they find the mana, and maybe bounce Feather to their hand or something like that. So we can play Dragon Turtle. It's not going to trigger because of the proctor. So it triggers, but we cannot pay. So that invalidates our enter the battlefield trigger. Alright, so let's see, we can go to attacks. Attacks with the Dragon Turtle. We cannot push too much damage. Maybe we should be attacking more aggressively with the Corlessa or me. But I think we are fine. And we can play Scanos and still hold up Quandrix command. So it's all about making sure that when Feather resolves, we have some sort of interaction for that. Even when they do that, yeah, they were just screwed. Okay, so recap. There's 5 decks on the event. We have seen a good side of these decks. I have lost many times with most of them as well, but this is the good side of these decks. I think the most powerful one is the Isa deck, the Rutha deck. I would pick that to kind of, yeah, spike the event and try to win fast. Then if you just want to have fun, second pick would be the green one, the Elowick one, just an efficient mono green stompy deck style with the upside of playing Elowick and venturing to the dungeon, finding more action. It's consistent because it's a monocolor, so that's pretty safe to play. Third one would be Firesong and Sunspeaker. Just a fun build around. Lots of removal spells to deal with annoying boards, annoying creatures. And that's going to be a fun deck, and you can win a lot with that deck in the events. Fourth would be Rakdos Showstopper build. I mentioned how badly it's affected by the lack of lands on the build, on the deck. So most of the time you're going to have trouble casting your spells. You can have lucky hands and just go off and play very powerful demons and win. But it was not my case, so I would pass from it if I could. And lastly is the Corlessa Dragon, Simic Dragon build, because there's actually not too many good dragons that you're playing. You're not abusing Corlessa's ability too much, and it's just clunky. You have a lot of mana to your disposal, but not too many things to do. So yeah, maybe that would be the last one that I would pick. But yet again, Simic Dragon sounds so fun that I see people just picking it up and playing with that. So that's it. This is my recap. Maybe we do a recap in the future or after the events, after seeing how they interact versus one another. For now, it's cool, and we will talk on another video.